Goody camp blood, ain't you?
God damn it, Ralph, get out of here. Go on, get. Leave people alone.
Never come back again.
Number 20. Father Brennan, The Omen.
I understand that you have a matter of some urgent personal business?
You must take communion, drink the blood of Christ, and eat his flesh. For only if he is within you can you defeat the son of the devil.
I see.
He's killed once, he'll kill again.
No child is perfect, but hearing that your son is the literal Antichrist is a tough report card to hear. Given the circumstances, though, it's safe to say that Father Brennan was onto something. After bringing Damien into this world, the priest's quest for repentance leads him to deliver a chilling warning to the Thorne family. Forsake their son, or they'll be placed into eternal timeout.
You're insane.
He must die, Mr. Thorne!
You asked for 5 minutes, and you've got 5 minutes.
Unfortunately, it's hard to take parenting advice from a stranger, especially a stranger like this. Brennan's crusade only leaves him shish kebabbed. Ultimately, his warning was too little too late. Number 19. Michael McDonald, Urban Legend. A rainy night, a girl driving alone, and an awkward gas station attendant. Sounds like the start of its own folktale, right? But in this case, the danger was lurking in the back seat instead of by the gas pump.
No, don't touch me! Let me go!
When McDonald struggles to find the words to warn her of the unwanted passenger, she mistakes him as the threat and drives off. Hauntingly, he musters his voice mere moments too late and can only cry into the unforgiving storm as she unwittingly endangers herself.
Someone's in the back seat!
No good deed goes unpunished, and despite his best intentions, McDonald ended up with pepper spray to the face and a gallon of survivor's guilt. Number 18. Nursery Owner, The Happening.
Hi. I run a plant nursery up the street. We're picking up a few things from home, then heading wherever this isn't happening. We have room.
Gardening is supposed to be relaxing, so when fatalities spread across the nation, not many green thumbs point blame at their shrubbery. But in classic M. Night Shyamalan fashion, the root of the problem was the actual roots themselves. However, a certain nursery owner actually spoils the director's trademark twist near the very start of the movie.
It's the plants. They can release chemicals. You like hot dogs, don't you?
Of course, at the time, it's hard to take the word of this plant whisperer seriously, since he talks to his greenery and seems a few leaves short of a full bush. But apparently, all that speaking to vegetation paid off with a special kind of sixth sense.
Maybe people are setting off the plants?
What are you saying? That guy was crazy. We have to save them.
They're already dead.
Number 17. The Meeks' Father, Frailty.
We can see the demons while other people can't. And the angel told me that God would be sending us 3 weapons to destroy them with.
Magical weapons?
I imagine so.
At first, the patriarch of the Meeks household just seems like a religious fanatic turned serial killer. He tells his sons, Fenton and Adam, that he's been tasked by God to destroy demons disguised as humans. But then comes the twist ending, which confirms that the victims were genuinely inhuman after all.
Jesus Christ, you really do believe all this stuff?
I've always believed.
It may not look like it as he teaches his sons to become murderers, but Dad Meeks was actually a righteous man. He was probably never a candidate for Father of the Year, but no one can say he ever shirked his work.
God will protect me.
Number 16. Margaret White, Carrie. Apparently, Mother really does know best. Well, at least about some things.
You're a woman now.
Why didn't you tell me, Mom?
Carrie's mom, Margaret, is a cruel and abusive religious fanatic. Her beliefs about the sinfulness of natural biological processes are way off base. It could be argued that her treatment of Carrie helps turn her daughter into the murderous monster she becomes, but she was right about a few things.
He's gonna laugh at you. They're all gonna laugh at you.
One was that going to prom was a bad idea. The other was that Carrie's telekinetic powers were hella scary. Margaret may still be a villain, But as Carrie's rampage proves, she was right to be fearful. Number 15, Kaylee Russell, Oculus.
Hello again. You must be hungry.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most insane of all? Well, admittedly, heroine Kaylee's obsession with an antique mirror is unusual. But she has a good reason.
There's no scientific equivalent for the word haunted, so we'll just say this object is responsible for at least 45 deaths in the 4 centuries of its recorded existence.
Can I just stop you for a second?
When she and her brother Tim were children, the mirror induced hallucinations, leading to the deaths of their parents. Tim took the blame, and years later is not convinced by Kaylee's theories. Just when her self-confidence is about to shatter, the mirror finally shows its true nature. Validated. Kaylee's exclamation is downright cathartic. Ha! Number 14, Andy Barkley, Child's Play. It was certainly disturbing to see 6-year-old Andy wrongfully blamed for Chucky's murders in the original 1988 film. But it's arguably even worse in the remake, where Andy is aged up.
I saw Doreen outside. Mom, I think Chucky did something to her.
Sweetie, Chucky is a toy.
As a 12-year-old, he should have been taken more seriously when he started accusing Chucky of diabolical acts. Yet his warnings are completely dismissed, and he becomes the prime suspect.
Hey! What are you doing? Get off! Chucky's here! He's gonna kill you!
As Chucky himself proves, being small does not mean that you should be taken lightly. The truth eventually comes out, but only when buddy dolls terrorize an entire mall.
We're too late.
It's time to play.
Number 13, Jazelle Gay Hartman, Jeepers Creepers.
Jazelle Gay Hartman, how do you do?
Jess, come on, they've been through a lot, okay?
Trisha.
God damn it,
I
Jess.
really need to talk to you. If you could just spare me a minute.
Giselle likes to think she's the resident psychic around here. She helped us out on a missing persons case.
You think I could just talk to these kids by myself?
Every 23rd spring for 23 days, this titular monster wakes up and gets to sniffing. Local psychic Jazelle Gay Hartman is on to his tricks, but at first, her message just leaves siblings Trish and Derry confused and terrified.
Yeah, hello.
Have you seen the cats yet? You and your brother.
Me and my brother.
You and Derry, I saw you with lots of cats.
Admittedly, she could probably work on how she presents the information. To her credit, she does end up tracking them down personally to make them heed her warning. By then, though, they'd already had more than a few run-ins with the unkillable creeper, which eventually succeeds in kidnapping Derry. Number 12, Mia Allen, Evil Dead.
There was something in the woods, David. And I think it's in here with us now.
The characters in this Cabin in the Woods movie thought they had every reason to ignore Mia's warnings, at least at first.
I don't know what is wrong with you people, but there's something dead, and it reeks.
But there's no smell.
You're just extra sensitive right now.
You see, she was experiencing withdrawal symptoms from her heroin use. But it soon becomes apparent that the stench of decay she described had a real cause. Animal corpses in the basement. And after Eric reads an incantation from a foreboding book, well, maybe they should have been more receptive to her pleas. At least, her sheer terror warranted a change of location. Honestly, after how her friends treated her, it's hard not to feel a little vindicated when Mia goes full Necronomicon on them.
You are all going to die tonight.
Number 11, Howard Stambler, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
What are you gonna do to me?
I'm going to keep you alive.
Unlike the first Cloverfield, this sequel derives much of its tension from brilliant character work. Rather than a violent and destructive alien attack, this movie quietly focuses on the drama between normal people like Michelle and Emmett and the crazy survivalist Howard.
What exactly do you think you're doing?
I'm asking for pepper.
Like hell you were. What was that?
I don't know what you're talking about, Howard.
You're trying to insult me?
Here in the shelter that I built that's keeping you alive?
While Howard claims he's keeping the two safe from the toxic outside air and dangerous alien creatures, Michelle and Emmett suspect he's just a cuckoo psycho imprisoning them for his own amusement. Emmett saw a bright red flash in the distance before entering the bunker, but nothing concrete. It's not until Michelle kills Howard and escapes the bunker that she learns the devastating truth. The aliens are in fact real, and they are very, very dangerous.
Come on.
Number 10. Randy Meeks, Scream.
There's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. That's the beauty of it all. Simplicity. Besides, if it gets too complicated, you lose your target audience.
Scream is very satirical and meta, so much so that it repeatedly comments on its own cliched plot. This most often takes the form of Randy, the wacky movie nerd who knows all the tropes of the horror genre.
That's why she always outsmarted the killer in the big chase scene at the end. Only virgins can do that. Don't you know the rules?
What rules?
You don't... Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules?
No, he's not crazy in the traditional sense, but he is often treated as the weird outsider. Randy has a lot of theories. He immediately points the finger at Stu, and in the video store he blames Billy, states that Sid's dad is a red herring, and predicts that Billy's motive is simple and easy to understand.
They'd watch prom night, they'd save time. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Turns out he's correct on all fronts. Both Stu and Billy were the killers. Sid's dad was a red herring, and Billy's motivation was simple. Good old-fashioned revenge and jealousy.
The millennium. Motives are incidental.
Millennium. Millennium, I like that. That's good. Millennium.
Number 9. Burt Gummer, Tremors. Burt Gummer is a pure survivalist stereotype. He is firmly anti-government, he's concerned about some type of impending cataclysmic World War III, and he owns a bunker stocked to the gills with provisions, food, weapons, and ammunition.
Well, you worry. You're gonna have a heart attack before you get a chance to survive World War III.
We'll see, we'll see.
The people of perfection treat him like the resident nutcase. That is, until the graboids come a-callin'.
Be a snake. Some kind of mutation.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Just one of these could need upgrading this old flock of sheep.
Suddenly, Burt is everyone's best friend, as he's the one with the weapons and homemade bombs necessary to stop the, sure enough, cataclysmic invasion of the graboids. Maybe it's not quite World War III, seeing as how the problem is isolated to perfection, but it certainly feels like it to the citizens of the town.
Well, I guess we don't get to make fun of Bert's lifestyle anymore, huh?
Number 8. Every main character, the Final Destination franchise.
The cabin, it starts to shake, right? And the left side blows up, and then the whole plane just explodes. And it was so real, just like how everything happens, you know?
You've been on a lot of planes that blew up?
You must have fallen asleep.
How much faith do you put in dreams and so-called precognition? Maybe you believe in it, maybe you don't. That's the question that kickstarts the plot of every Final Destination. For instance, in the first one, high school student Alex has a premonition that the plane he and his classmates will be flying in will blow up. And when he attempts to save everyone, he causes quite the commotion. Sure enough, the plane explodes shortly after takeoff.
You look at me as if I caused this. I didn't cause this.
As if that's not enough, he later tries to convince everyone that they cheated death and that it will claim them in the order they were meant to die on the plane. Ms. Luton doesn't believe him. And sure enough, she is quickly skewered. Needless to say, everyone believes him after that.
I saw it. I saw the belt.
Scared now?
It broke.
Bullshit. He saved your life again.
Number 7. Cecilia Cass, The Invisible Man. After escaping from an abusive relationship, Cecilia struggles with trauma, still feeling like her ex is close by. It turns out that her suspicions are far more than paranoia. There really is someone stalking her, sabotaging her life, and making it seem like she's lost the plot.
Oh my God. Sydney, are you okay? Why would you just stop? Stop, Dad! No. No, Sydney, I didn't. No.
His torment eventually succeeds in convincing everyone that Cecilia is violent and dangerous, and even that she's killed her own sister.
He's in the room, James.
You're saying that the person who killed your sister is in the room right now, but we can't see him.
It is a chilling portrayal of domestic violence and gaslighting. But thankfully, Cecilia sticks to her guns and is eventually vindicated.
Surprise.
Number 6, Laurie Strode, Halloween.
What are you doing in our house?
You mean, how did I get into your house? You have no security system, Karen. Your side window is wide open. Sometimes I can't tell the difference between your stupidity and your ignorance.
2018's Halloween took a surprisingly honest look into how a traumatic experience can permanently affect someone's life and mental well-being.
40 years after the events of the first movie, Laurie is feeling the consequences of her past. She is a recluse who has PTSD and is entirely devoted to defending herself and her family from another possible attack.
Of course, this causes an enormous strain on her personal relationships, and she's ostracized from her family as a result.
The way I raised your mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, then I can live with that.
Everyone urges Laurie to seek help and move on because there's no way Michael will return. That is, until Michael returns and kills countless people. And who's there to protect her family? None other than crazy old Laurie Strode.
He's waited for me. I've waited for him. Come on, Michael.
Number 5, Crazy Ralph, Friday the 13th.
Good at Camp Blood, ain't you? God damn it, Ralph, get out of here. Go on, get. Leave people alone.
You'll never come back again.
Oh, shut up, Ralph.
It's got a death curse.
The crazy guy in some backwoods location warning the protagonist about a killer is an old horror movie trope. But it's perhaps best embodied in the first Friday the 13th by the aptly named Crazy Ralph. As you can probably tell by his loving nickname, Ralph is seen as mentally unstable by the citizens and tourists around Crystal Lake. He continuously warns people about the curse of Camp Crystal Lake, and they in turn ignore his so-called drunken ramblings.
I'm a messenger of God. You're doomed if you stay here. This place is cursed. Cursed.
Well, Camp Crystal Lake isn't cursed per se, but it is the home of a particularly violent and vengeful mother who isn't above burying axes in people's faces. Just think of all the lives he could have saved had anyone bothered to listen.
You're all doomed.
Number 4, Rosemary Woodhouse, Rosemary's Baby.
Now, I'm not going to wish you good luck because you won't need it. You're going to have a happy, happy life.
Have a good trip and come back safely.
Perhaps, but I may stay on in Dubrovnik or Pescara or maybe Mallorca. We shall see.
Rosemary's instincts about her neighbors are spot on. Only things are even worse than she fears. They're not just meddlesome. They're part of a satanic cult that includes her husband. Together, they plan to have her bear the devil's son.
Covens in Europe, in America, and in Australia, and they have one right here. That whole bunch. The parties with the singing and the flute and the chanting, those are Espas or Sabbaths or whatever they're called.
Her moments of distrust are completely warranted, but she's surrounded by people telling her that she's rude and delusional. Of course, that's because they're all in on it. By the end, they've succeeded in isolating her, leaving her with no one to turn to when her worst fears are realized.
Rosemary.
Shut up.
Rosemary.
Shut up, you're in Dubrovnik. I don't hear you.
Number 3, Rod Williams, Get Out.
You told manager because you never take my advice.
Like what?
Like don't go to a white girl parent's house.
Get Out is another highly intelligent horror movie that knows the tropes, its audience, and their expectations.
And so we got Rod, who represents not one, but 2 horror movie categories. People well versed in the genre will tell you that both black and funny characters never make it to the end.
Look, bruh, all I'm doing is connecting the dots. I'm taking what you presented to me, okay?
Well, not only does Rod make it to the end, he also ends up saving the day thanks to some well-placed suspicion and diligent research.
But this only comes after he was literally laughed at for his theory that the Armitage family was kidnapping and brainwashing black people to use as sex slaves. He wasn't quite on the money, but he certainly got the gist of it.
I mean, I told you not to go in that house.
Number 2, Marty Macowski, The Cabin in the Woods.
Cops will never pull over a man with a huge bong in his car. Why? They fear this man. They know he sees farther than they, will bind them with ancient logics.
This is yet another brilliant subversion of expectations, as the funny stoner guy not only survives the whole ordeal, well, to a certain point anyway, but his weird ramblings actually turn out to be right.
Right from the outset, Marty cautions the group against a lot of stupid things like reading creepy Latin phrases out loud.
Do not read the Latin.
He also finds surveillance equipment and correctly assumes that he's on some sort of reality TV thing.
I want a reality TV show.
Heck, he even discusses being controlled by mysterious puppeteers. As we later find out, he and the group are being manipulated by puppeteers in a control room. It all sounds like typical stoner paranoia, but in this case, the stoner has a point. Many points, in fact.
No! What are you saying?
Number 1. Brody, Hooper, and Quint. Jaws.
I pulled a tooth the size of a shot glass out of the wrecked hull of a boat out there, and it was the tooth of a great white.
It was Ben Gardner's boat. It was all chewed up. I helped tow it in. You should have seen him.
Where is that tooth? Did you see it, Brody?
One could certainly make an argument that all three protagonists of Jaws are seen as the crazy ones. Brody encounters many obstacles on his path to protect the citizens of Amity Island, including a wishy-washy coroner and a mayor hell-bent on protecting the town's economy above all else.
Larry, if we make an effort today, we might be able to save August.
August? For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business. It's going to be one of the best summers we've ever had.
No one seems to believe Brody or Hooper's claims about an abnormally large great white shark, especially once a tiger shark is caught, and everyone actively ignores their warnings. And when it comes to hunting the shark, Quint gets no respect and is dismissed for asking for way too much money.
Thank you very much, Mr. Quint. We'll take it under advisement.
It's not until the fatal 4th of July incident that the trio is finally taken seriously.
Shark! The shark!
Now what?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.